Hi Sagittarius, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly horoscope for the month of August. We have been in eclipse season, and we had 3 eclipses. We generally only have 2, and the nodes of fate changed signs on May 5th and actually entered your sign axis, with the south node transiting in your sign and the north node transiting in the opposite sign of Gemini, and they will be doing so until January of 2022. So the transiting south node of karma is in your first house of self and immediate environment, and there could be things that you're letting go of that are no longer serving you, and that also means the eclipses are in your sign axis for the next 2 years. And there was a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius that took place on June 5th at 15 degrees of Sag and fell in your first house. And that could have been a release or a lot of emotional energy. Eclipses are wild cards, and they're very unpredictable, but a lot of energy, a lot of action, a lot of change will take place in a very short period of time. And as we begin the month, transiting Mercury is in your 8th house of joint resources and other people's money. It's the house of investments and loans, and it also represents blocked wounds and loss and intimacy. And Mercury, which is communication and information, has been transiting in that house for you since the end of May when it entered Cancer. And it was retrograde from June 18th until July 12th. So a lot of review around loss or old wounds or perhaps financial issues that you're struggling with. And the good news is that Mercury is about to exit this area of your chart. It's no longer retrograde. There was a total solar eclipse that also occurred in that house on the solstice weekend, and that could have brought more light to things you need to work on. Maybe it brought new financial opportunities potentially, because it is the house of money. And there was a second new moon that took place there on July 20th. So hopefully that did bring in financial opportunities, but it's kind of intense having Mercury in that sector of your chart for so long. And with the total solar eclipse, more than likely it brought light to some things that you need to heal. So with that said, Mars in a fellow fire sign, which it is in Aries until January 6th, is giving you some enthusiasm, helping you to tap into that fire that you have innately. So Mars is transiting in your house of fun and creativity and love affairs until January 6th. So that will help to give you enthusiasm and help to bring a lot of creativity to your life. If there are things that you want to launch, I would suggest taking action now and getting things going as much as you can before September 9th, because Mars will retrograde from September 9th until November 13th, and it's retrograding in your house of creativity and romance. So you want to start things as much as you can now before that takes place. And the other thing is, on the 1st of August, transiting Mercury forms an opposition to Pluto. And that can be a power playing aspect that's not one to partner. Mercury is in your 8th house of joint resources and financial partnerships, opposing Pluto in your house of income and money. So lay low on that day. And then we have a full moon on August 3rd that takes place at 11 degrees and 46 minutes of Aquarius. And that falls in your 3rd house of communication and writing and ideas. And for you, that's good energy for bringing to completion things that maybe you've been working on, that you've been writing, or that you've been negotiating, or perhaps it's something in your local neighborhood that you've been working on that could bring things to completion. And on the 4th of August, transiting Mars forms a square to Jupiter in Capricorn. And Mars, again, is occupying your 5th house of creative self-expression, and it's squaring Jupiter in your house of income and what you value. That's where this whole Capricorn tale of collapsing of old paradigms and restructuring, for you, it's all taking place in your house of value and money and income and creativity too. So So Mars squares Jupiter on the 4th, and that expands the Mars energy. And this month of August, we're going to feel the fire definitely very strongly pronounced. It's also Leo season up until August 22nd, so that's a fellow fire sign as well. And the sun is transiting in your house of hope and manifesting and higher learning, and that's the Sagittarian house in astrology, so house of optimism, so that's a positive thing. But with Mars square Jupiter, we're going to see in the beginning of the month people getting more fiery. On that day, transiting Mercury exits Cancer and leaves your house of joint investments and wounds, and it's the Scorpio house, the very intense house, and Mercury enters your house of higher learning and promotion and teaching. So it's an excellent time for you for thinking of projects where maybe you want to promote yourself, or if you're thinking of publishing an article, or thinking of taking some classes or doing some manifesting work. This is all very positive to do so. And on the 5th of August, we have transiting Venus meeting up with the North Node of Fate, and that's really nice energy. For you, Venus has been in your house of partnership since April 4th. We had Venus retrograde in Gemini from May 13th until June 25th. And Venus retrogrades every 8 years in this sector of your chart. And this could, it was also out of bounds, which really expanded the whole Venus story. So that could bring people and relationships from many walks of life that may have resurfaced, maybe old boyfriends or old girlfriends or old friends and people you used to work with, and a lot of reflection on relationships. Now Venus is about to exit Gemini, but meeting up with the North Node of Destiny is an excellent day on the 5th to target for states, for business meetings, for creative projects, for partnering with people in many different ways. Very good energy. And on the 7th of August, transiting Venus exits Gemini and enters the sign of Cancer, and will enter your 8th house of intimacy and joint resources. So that could be helpful perhaps for bringing in financial opportunities, good for addressing wounds, or hopefully for dealing with intimacy. So that's a positive thing, although it is kind of intense in the 8th house. And then on the 13th of August, transiting Mars clashes with Pluto in the sky. And Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. That's an aspect of war and combat. Definitely lay low on that day. That is not a day to launch things. Excuse me. Definitely try to just do what you need to do, and people will be very very combative that day. And on the 15th of August, transiting Uranus in the sign of Taurus, stations retrograde at 10 degrees of Taurus, and we feel that energy 5 days before and 5 days after. And for you, that's falling in your house of work and daily routine. There might be some unexpected events at the workplace. It can be very innovative energy, but given that we have Mars squaring Pluto 2 days before, it's likely to be more combative. So just knowing that the middle of August will have that tone. And then on the 16th of August, transiting Mars forms a really nice aspect to the sun in Leo. So Mars in your house of creativity and romance, trining the sun in your house of optimism and belief system. So that's really good for getting things done. Mars also trines Mercury that day. It's excellent for all sorts of creative projects you have, great for having fun, great for romance. So that's a good day to target. On the 17th of August, the sun meets up with Mercury in Leo in your house of publicity and promotion and teaching and publishing. So that's excellent also for meeting with people, for promoting yourself. And on the 18th of August, we have a new moon that occurs at 26 degrees of Leo, and it falls in your house of hope and manifesting. So definitely set intentions that day and plan things for that day, because it's a great day for launching things And in that new moon chart, Venus in Cancer in your 8th house of joint resources forms a sextile to Uranus, and that's an aspect of opportunity, and that falls in your house of work and daily routine. So that could bring great financial opportunities as well. So that's a really positive new moon in Leo, which rules the heart, so really tapping into what gives you joy. And then on the, let's see, on the 24th of August, transiting Mars in Aries clashes with Saturn in Capricorn. And that can feel very blocked and frustrating. So that is not a day for partnering with other people. That's a day more for focusing on laborious tasks that take a lot of patience and discipline, that you don't expect immediate results. Because if you want to do something quickly, that is not the day for it. But on the 25th, transiting Mercury it will now be in the sign of Virgo in its home sign, and that will be in your house of career, and it enters your house of career on August 19th, and it forms a trine to Uranus on the day of the 25th, and that's very innovative and ingenious energy because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, and so that's an excellent day for writing, for marketing yourself, for coming up with brilliant ideas, for brainstorming. And Venus in the sky in Cancer forms an opposition to Jupiter in your money houses. So that could bring a lot of creativity. It can be excessive energy, but it also can be extremely prosperous. And on the 27th, transiting Venus forms a trine to Neptune. And that's very romantic. Neptune is in your house of home and family, and it's transiting Venus in the 8th house of intimacy and finances. That could be a nice romantic night at home. That could be great for financial projects and opportunities. So that's a nice date. On the 30th of August is another day you want to lay low because Venus in Cancer forms an opposition to Pluto. That could be a breakup day. That could definitely be big battles with relationships. And transiting Mercury in your house of career forms an opposition to Neptune at the bottom of your chart in the house of home and family. And that could bring miscommunication, confusion, and in the worst case scenario, deception. So the 30th is not a good target date, but there is a lot to work with in August. Mars is in your house of fun and creativity, so hopefully you're able to have a little fun in this challenging time and work as much as you can with Mars still direct, even though now it's in shadow, meaning that at the end of July it surpassed 15 degrees of Aries, which is the degree it stations direct on November 13th. So we're all getting a glimpse of what the Mars in retrograde story will be for all of us. So work hard, have some fun, and good luck, Sagittarius. Thank you very much.